Ms. Esty will start, which our last question is, how would you propose to make needed investments in infrastructure, education, and preserving and strengthening the social safety net without widening the national debt beyond repair?
Well, one of the ways we can do this is to let those darn Bush millionaire tax cuts expire. That's number one, right? I don't know what the problem is, but you know what? Grover Norquist's tax pledge has led to a bunch of people being totally unwilling to let go of coddling, people with the most money. It does not make sense. Number two, we also get rid of the subsidies for big oil and agribusiness. They don't need it. Major corporations are sitting on $1.3 trillion of cash right now, and they aren't sharing it with anyone. They aren't creating any jobs. So you know what? I don't think they need any more incentives for us right now. But we do need to look at the spending side, and we need to be smart about what we do. I did it on the local level. We balanced our budget, and we as Democrats need to stand up and make sure that programs work for people. Careful with tax dollars and make sure people are paying their fair share. That's how we get to a balanced budget, and we bring our troops home, and that's going to help as well. Thank you.
We need to create jobs. That'll help us solve our deficit problem. And we need to tax millionaires. The millionaires are not paying their fair share. The businesses are not paying their fair share as well. They're taking jobs they're taking our jobs overseas. United Technologies wanted to take our jobs overseas. Jet engines that we make here, they wanted to take them overseas. And they're getting tax breaks. Sorry, you keep the jobs here, we'll give you the tax breaks. You take the jobs overseas, no tax breaks. We need to do that consistently and let businesses know, you want to work here, we will work with you. And that's the other thing is oil companies. We give oil companies tax breaks. There are platforms out there that we said to oil companies, hey, explore to see if oil's out there. And they said, we will, but we're not going to pay you the lease for the area. They should be paying us that. We get billions and billions. And then what do we do with those dollars? We invest them back into the community. If these big millionaires are not going to create the jobs, if these big businesses are going to create the jobs, we will create the jobs by hiring more teachers, by hiring more police, by filling our infrastructure, and investing in health care for everyone.
Thank you very much.
Scott, I thought we were friends.
Yeah, I know. You got me again. Please.
What we need is aggressive job creation policies right now with a long-term eye towards deficit reduction. Why do we need this? First off, investing in our infrastructure right now, putting people back to work, that grows our economy. Particularly investing in things like infrastructure, which, as I've said, I think multiple times already, every dollar of infrastructure investment comes back to us at $1.44. That's a good investment. In over 10 years, that'll be really good for the economy as well. But we have to tighten our belts also. We have to look for clever ways to tighten our belts up. Former Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, a couple years ago, he actually found $100 billion worth of cost containment in the defense budget. Now, he took it and recycled it right back into his defense budget. Should have gone towards deficit reduction. We need to do that at agencies across the board and look at how we can contain our costs. But we also can't overlook the obvious. We have to raise revenue. We need serious tax reform. We have to change this corporate tax structure that allows corporations to pay $0. We need to raise revenues and put it towards our deficit. It's the only way we're going to be able to grow the economy the way we need to.
Thank you very much. Now for our closing statements, and by reverse order of lot. Remember, everybody, this will be 2 minutes each. Mr. Roberti.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, everyone, for coming out. What a great turnout this was. Give everybody a round of applause. It's just getting started, and thank you both for coming out here. It's always fun talking the issues with you, too. And thank you, Scott, and thank you to the Young Dems for organizing this. I will close simply by saying we need to think long and hard about who we want to represent us in the 5th District. People are aching for something new. That's what Chris Murphy was able to tap into 6 years ago. Fresh face, fresh ideas, new approaches to the old problems. And that's what I'm all about. And the other thing Chris Murphy did to win this election, he was out there every single day knocking on doors. And that's what I've been doing. We've been very lucky with the weather we've had. I've been out there. I've been in tons of towns already. You can follow me. I encourage you to go to danroberti.com. Follow my travels. I'll probably be at your doorstep soon. But we have to build groups of supporters. We have to build coalitions. We've got to reach out to the independent, unaffiliated voters of Connecticut that makes up 45% of this district. And we have to make sure that when we're talking to them, they can hear what it is we want to do, what it is I want to do for all of you. I want to be your representative. I've worked with people. I've worked with people who've had their backs turned on from the government. I said it earlier. I went down to New Orleans and I helped people clear debris from their house. I went out to a homeless shelter where I worked with families that consistently came in because the factory shut down there and there was no industry out there. And I made sure that even though we were an adult shelter and we weren't really supposed to have kids there, we made sure we got those families the food and the clothing that they needed to be able to continue on for tomorrow. And I helped our veterans who came home with no GI Bill. I helped them find housing. I helped them find jobs. And that is what I will do for the people of the 5th District. So thank you for coming out here tonight. And please, I need your support. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having us today.
Elizabeth Esty.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you to our timers. I don't think you've been thanked. Thank you to our panel, Peter, and to everyone for being here tonight. This is an important election, but I think about it in really personal terms. You know, I was at the store the other day, and someone I know, not really well, but kind of know, I was at the store picking up things at the supermarket, and Susan, I've changed her name to protect her privacy. We were talking about, you know, do the peppers look any good, and what do you think about this yogurt? And we started talking about our families. And you know, our kids are around the same age, and she said, you know what, well, her daughter did graduate from college, just like mine did, but her daughter wasn't able to find a job, and she's had to move back in, and that really wasn't at all what she wanted, and she's busy sending out resumes. Susan's mother, who was living on her own, you know, is having a bit of a health setback, and she really doesn't feel like she can get the support she needs at home. So she's moved in with Susan, too. Susan's husband lost his job last year. So he's working part-time. He's kind of trying to make ends meet, but, you know, it's getting really tight on the mortgage. And she's just found out that her hours are going to get cut back. So they may talk about the economy getting better in Washington, but you know what? It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that to a lot of people here in the 5th District of Connecticut. Times are tough, and we need to do better. You know, all those of you who saw the Clint Eastwood ad, he's right. It is halftime in America, and we have been down for the last couple of years, and it is time to pick ourselves up. It is time to pick ourselves up and to work together, because you know what? This isn't about us and them. This is about all of us. We need to get back to problem solving in this country. We need to work on middle-class jobs. We need to protect Social Security and Medicare. But most of all, we need to get people in Washington to work together for the good of the American public. That's what this job is about. That's what's at stake in this election. And I ask for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, all the people who worked on it. Thank you, Scott. You know, I was thinking a few days ago about one day I was walking to church with my grandfather. He was a carpenter. He had big hands. We were holding hands. I must have been about 6 or 7. And we were crossing the street. And he said, hey, Chrissy boy, one of these days you're going to be holding my hand crossing the street. Now, I didn't think much about it, but I remember it. He was saying to me, we have a responsibility for each other. He's going to take care of me when I'm little. I had to take care of him when he's older. And you know what? I did. When he was older, I had a job. I was paying Social Security. I was taking care of him with his Social Security and Medicare. We see people right now who are saying boo to Social Security. They're saying they're against Medicare. They're against senior citizens. They're against women's health care. They're against jobs. We have a responsibility to take care of each other. And we need to fight back. We were all really thrilled in 2008 when Obama won. Well, guess what? The Republicans did everything they did to tarnish that hope. We need to bring hope back and tell people that we are fighting for them. When we tell the people in our state that we're fighting for them, we're fighting for jobs, we're fighting for Social Security, we're fighting for Medicare, we're fighting for health care, they will be thrilled. They are waiting for us. They are waiting for us to give them that message. And I have done that in Connecticut. I've worked with teachers, the elderly, children, environmentalists, labor, and we've passed laws here in Connecticut that are laws that we can be proud of. I was down at Occupy Wall Street, and I was talking to some of the people there. He said, oh, all politicians are bums, they're all paid off. Well, I talked about our campaign finance law, where anybody can run for office. We passed that law in Connecticut, and I explained it to everybody, and they were amazed. You mean people can just give small donations to get money from the government? And I said, yes. And they said, where is this place, Connecticut? Well, here it is right here. I've worked with people here. The people I've worked with are very excited about me running. We can do it in Washington. We can tax the millionaires in Washington. And we can make Connecticut and the United States a better place for working families. Thank you very much.
We'll go to Sean Scanlon of the Connecticut Young Democrats.
I just want to be up here tonight to thank a lot of people, and so I asked you to bear with me for a second. We'll start with the candidates. To Chris, Elizabeth, and Dan, both did a wonderful job. Just a round of applause to them. Our moderator, Scott Bates, who graciously gave us his time for the evening, to him as well. And then last but not least, the Young Dems who made this possible. It's an honor for me to be the president of the statewide chapter of the Young Dems, but there are a lot of people in this room who did an incredible amount of work to pull this off and make this event this great success that you see it is here on your left and your right. So to recognize them in no order of appearance, but Peter Bruzaitis, the president of Northwest Connecticut. Our timekeepers tonight, Matt Salander and John Winkle. Gatekeepers, Max Friedman, Ryan Rogers, Ryan Mulcahy. Luis Rodriguez and Danbury, and Rob Fields in the back, who's the president of the Waterbury chapter. So again, a final thank you to the candidates, everybody who made this possible, and thank you so much all for attending. We look forward to getting out there and working for whichever candidate you feel is best in the next couple months. So thank you.
Again, it's fresh action here.